So the results are in. If you guys missed the last F30 video, we went ahead and took an oil sample from the N55, sent it out to a company called Blackstone Analysis just to see how screwed the engine was. While we were taking the oil sample, we just happened to inspect the filter and found a bunch of metal shavings inside of it. And I decided to just keep the car in the shop and not drive it. So today, not only will we go over the results, something you guys have been asking me for on social media, but we'll do a little bit of maintenance and hopefully you guys can learn something from that, because, you know, maintenance first, and then we can hopefully and finally move on to performance. All right, let's go over this report. Gotta take a seat for this one. We'll just read the summary, because all the other little small details as far as like the type of metal and, you know, water level or, you know, coolant levels that they found within the oil, I'll just put it up on screen so you guys can see and pause the video if you want to. It says, Christian, this BMW earned a nice first report. Wear metals are all reading low compared to the universal averages, which show typical results for an N55 after 5,700 miles oil use. To show an engine that's wearing appropriately for the type. No dirt or antifreeze contamination was found. The only minor complaints on the page are for the flash point and viscosity results. The low flash point shows fuel dilution at 0.5% of the sample, which is usually just from operational factors. The fuel may have thinned the viscosity slightly, but that's fine. Looks good at 131,000 miles. Let me just go ahead and flash back to when we were like releasing the oil from the N55. Looks like water mixed oil, bro. Dun, dun, dun. So in a nutshell, it's a passing report, and based on the report, it doesn't seem like it has a rod bearing issue. Yet we found like, I don't know, 20, 30 metal flakes within the filter that we can see. The rest is probably still within the engine. We ordered rod bearings, and we still gotta do the rod bearings just to see if we can, I guess, compare the results that we got from Blackstone Analysis and physically seeing the rod bearings that are installed onto the F30 and 55. And then we can, I guess, find out which one is a lie and which one is the truth. In no way am I trying to challenge the professionals at Blackstone Analysis. It's a very reputable company. They've been around for a while and they're experts at what they do. But just the metal shavings in the oil filter has me a little bit concerned. Like I said, the car was like poorly maintained, and I bought it for very cheap, and it has a lot of issues. So I'd rather just get in there, do the rod bearings, at least physically inspect the original rod bearings, and I don't know, maybe Blackstone Analysis is correct, but I need to at least give it a shot and find out, especially because we're trying to get this car to at least 500 horsepower to the wheel, so it's only right. So as far as maintenance, we'll take care of the valve cover gasket because it is leaking from there pretty much like every other BMW. Well, I was planning to do spark plugs and coils as well since we were already there, but I realized we don't have any in stock. We normally do. If you guys are interested in spark plugs and coils like Delphi and NGK, Step 2 coil there, we do sell them on our website, vehiclehours.com. I have links down in the description below. We might start selling these maintenance parts. If you don't see them on the website, just message us on IG and we can whip something up for you guys. The main reason we wanted to get underneath the valve cover is just to see what it looks like under there, because if the engine's looking pretty caca, as Ali would say, then we know we have a bigger issue. So let's start. So I'm following the guidance here. I've never done this, at least not on the N55. Beauty cover comes off first, and this one is nice and stuck. Plastic stuff needs to all come off. Nice blue socket. Yeah, guess where I got it from?
Hard butter fake.
Exactly. And they haven't failed me yet. So the seal, rubber seal comes off. Learning as we're going, guys. Short tire brace,
Yes.
E-Jess. The size is Jess 18. Short tire brace comes off. I did forget to mention I disconnected the battery off camera because apparently we have to disconnect this wire right here. At one point when we start messing with all these wires, we're just gonna B-roll all of it so you guys don't get bored.
I gift you this.
Alright, so we got last thing here, I guess a little clip, pry clip. There you go. We're done with the plastic stuff. So moving on here, we have these connectors. For the O2 sensors need to be removed. Positive is going to come off. I guess this plug comes off too. Vacuum hose comes off. The brittle connector here, what is this, for the PCV?
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is, most people break these clips really easily. It's cheap BMW plastic. This car has, what, 140,000 miles, so We gotta treat it, you know, like a baby. Then from there, we'll start removing the plastic bracket here. Obviously the coils, everything in between. Then we'll move on to the fuel rails. And then you have, I don't know, like 15, 20 freaking E-socket bolts to remove the cover. And then we'll go from there. So let's go ahead and time lapse this part. Let's go ahead and pause the time lapse real quick so I can update you guys, because what can go wrong when working on these cars always seems to go wrong when we're doing a video. Always. So it's supposed to be a relatively short experience. Take a look at this coil right here. The tip of it is literally stuck on the spark plug. Oh, it gets worse. There's a second one stuck on the spark plug. Like, these coils were all extremely hard to remove, and I'm guessing that these haven't been replaced in a very, very long time. Take a look at this one, guys. It's terrible. Here's the thing, man. A lot of BMW owners just don't know how to do proper maintenance. And this is why these cars get such a bad rep. And a person like me comes along and has to pick up all the slack. Right? Car comes out for $60,000 from BMW. Eventually depreciates to hell. $20,000 car. Somebody that typically can't afford a BMW buys it and thinks they're gonna do maintenance based on a $20,000 car. No, maintenance is still on a $60,000 car. And instead of trying to fix everything, they ride it out, get rid of it when the car's about to blow up, and the next person has to go through the same process, and it's wash, rinse, repeat. They trade it in, somebody else gets it, trade it in, somebody else gets it, and then by the time an enthusiast gets it, they're stuck with all of this stuff. Which is totally my fault for buying a car like this, but I figured it would be more content and more educational for you guys. So it's a different day. We're trying to pull out the coil plug. I sprayed some WD-40 in there earlier, let it sit, see if we can remove it, hopefully not in pieces. Oh, did you get it? Yay! So what's the trick? Soak it up in WD-40, come back 3 hours later and use some pick tools?
Yes.
You did say that this is not very uncommon, right? This happens all the time?
Yeah, on the coils that sit here for too long.
In one piece, bro.
Yep.
We definitely got lucky today removing these. Normally they can take a very long time. Today only took 5 minutes. So let's get back to removing the valve cover. Oh!
It's not supposed to do that.
Why is it doing that? Is the PCV system like bad? What is going on there? And why is the oil so black?
Dude, that's a lot of oil in there.
And we just put in some fresh oil, so that's not the new oil. We have less than 2 miles on that oil, just saying. Less than 2 miles.
I've never seen a valve cover have that much oil in it. Looks like somebody hasn't been doing their oil change.
How can you tell?
Well, this is stained.
Discoloration there?
I would say we need a new valve cover.
Oh, Lord have mercy. I'm not trying to extend this video any longer.
Well.
Well, it was supposed to be a fairly quick and relatively cheap project, just turned into a nightmare and a lot more expensive. Have you ever heard the saying that a cheap car is never a cheap car? This is why. This was a cheap car that's costing a lot of money to make it unclap. All right, fellas, we got the valve cover. It's the next day. Where were we? Fresh. Look at that, it even comes with its own gasket for the inside and for the outer. So I'm gonna have a spare gasket around. Comes with 2 screws as well. I'm gonna go ahead and do just one last thing before we install the new gasket in the valve cover. And that's just to clean around the edges here to make sure the gasket goes on flush. To clean the edges, pretty simple, microfiber cloth, and that's it. And a lot of it just comes right off. Yeah, you see? Super easy. I'll do the rest off camera. Ali's doing one final inspection. We just turned on the car just to make sure it's not leaking from the valve cover. They want to show you guys something. Yeah, so here's what the spark plugs look like, the ones that we pulled out. They had Bosch, and they look like they've been through hell. Just like the coils that we pulled out, terrible. No maintenance was done in this car, guys. Absolutely no maintenance. Went ahead and put everything back together. At least we got some maintenance done. Valve cover gasket, spark plugs, coils. Stuff that's very easy to do at home, assuming you got the right tools. I think for the next video, we'll work on the oil pan gasket and inspect the rod bearings and swap them out as well, just to see if they're in line with the Blackstone oil analysis. Should be interesting. Wait, don't leave just yet. If you guys enjoyed the video or found it helpful, make sure to hit the like button. It really does help with the channel. Make sure to subscribe so you guys don't miss out on the follow-up for the F30. And as always, thanks for watching. Till next time.